Welcome back to AIEducate. This is Johnson. I'm Owen. And we're going to be rapid firing some ways Chatgpt can help you. Okay, bro. Stop. Okay, wait, we're running. Welcome to AIEducate. I'm Owen.
I'm Johnson.
And we're going to be going over some ways you can use Chatgpt ethically in your schoolwork, how you can use it for practice quizzes, practice questions, and just ways you can overall help yourself in school in a way that's actually allowed and you don't end up plagiarizing. So Johnson, why don't you start with the first way?
All right, so first up, it can help you in like every subject. Whether it's math, science, history, or any other subject, Chatgpt can offer detailed explanations of whatever that topic is, and even though it might not be fully accurate, it can definitely help you get a deeper understanding of it and just really simplify it, where like a Google search, maybe it'll give you like a complex answer that you don't really understand, but you can just ask ChatGPT, hey, what does this mean? Simplify it, and then it will give you it in simple terms.
Especially if you're confused from what a teacher taught you the day before or that day and you're at home doing your homework, it's a good way to just gain like a base knowledge and then go from there if you weren't paying attention at all. Okay, so next up, if you ever have a research project, ChatGPT can give you kind of like an overview of what you're going to have to research. It can give you sources and you can look into it from there. It's kind of like what Johnson said, where there can be complex concepts that you don't really understand, but in terms of a research project, you might not know where to start. So ChatGPT can give you ideas on where to start and also give you like a way to break down your research that you found. But you do have to make sure that if ChatGPT comes up with an idea for you, like maybe you're doing a research project on something and it provides maybe a critical thinking question like, how does this impact this other thing? And you didn't even think about that before. You do have to cite your source, because if you use an idea that ChatGPT came up with that you didn't, because ChatGPT is a large language model, you're probably stealing someone else's work. So you must cite the source that came up with that idea.
Mm-hmm. And also, fun fact, the best way to actually study scientifically is by quizzing yourself. And one thing that you can do really effectively with ChatGPT is either like upload your notes or even just say like what subject and what grade you're studying and enter that into ChatGPT and then ask it to make a quiz on that subject for you, which is really helpful in terms of getting your memory down.
Yeah,
studying.
I've used ChatGPT many times for that. If your teacher only gives you one practice test and you've already done your practice test but you made a few errors along the way, and you don't really know where to go from there, it can just make a whole bunch of questions and you can use it, and it's super effective. I know Johnson does it all the time. Sometimes he even prints out the practice tests that it makes and gives it to a lot of our peers or friends. So yeah. Next up, if you're ever writing an essay or research project or anything you're going to have to turn in, ChatGPT is a great way to critique your work. Maybe it feels you should expand more on this area, or maybe your grammar's off and it can correct your grammar for you. So before turning in anything, it's a good idea to just copy and paste your work into ChatGPT and ask it to just give you tips on how to write or improve your writing. So yeah.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. And what are we doing next? All right, next up, ChatGPT can actually help you learn a new language. It is great for translations, grammar in another language, and just giving general tips. And it can even help you have conversations in a different language. For example, I learned this from ChatGPT. Bonjour, my name is Johnson.
Yep.
Wait, no, bonjour, je m'appelle Johnson.
You didn't learn that one from grade 9 French.
Absolutely not, definitely not. But yeah, it's amazing. Here, I'll give you another one. Ni hao, what it means Mr. Johnson.
Nice.
Yeah.
All right.
Straight from the GPT.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, next up.
Exactly. All right. So this kind of goes back to one we touched on before with practice questions and practice tests. More so, we were focusing on the math or science focused courses. Like If you're in chemistry, creating balancing equations that you can work on, or maybe in math, you just want to try some factoring and you ask ChatGPT to make up some of those for you. Also, just note that ChatGPT is a large language model, so it wasn't trained on math questions. So just be wary when using ChatGPT for math, because it can get a lot of questions wrong or just give you questions that are impossible to solve because it wasn't trained on math language and it doesn't always understand it. It does sometimes, but it can get confused. And yeah. But basically what I was going to say is, if you have a big exam coming up for English, it's a good way to give you sample questions that you may see coming up on the exam. Maybe there's like a subject versus predicate quiz or test, or that's going to be a question on your exam. You can ask ChatGPT to give you a set of questions with that, and then after you've completed them, ask it for the answer, and you can check your answers. So yeah.
All right. Lastly, if you're ever stuck on a problem that requires problem solving, ChatGPT can help you explain the problem step by step so that you can figure out, for example, like a factoring problem or something, or like a math problem that requires thinking, or a physics problem. Lastly, if you've ever Googled a question that requires step by step problem solving and like a process to get there, you might get the answer, but you don't know how exactly you got there. This is a perfect time to ask ChatGPT, like, step by step, how do I solve this problem, to understand the problem, so that when it comes up on a test, you know how to solve it and you get marks for solving it rather than just having the answer.
And it might not always be right, but if you can see at the first few steps, maybe you'll know how to figure it out from there and be able to track that. Yeah. And I use that a lot, but keep in mind, just looking at how to do it isn't going to help you. You have to learn how to do it. So after seeing the step-by-step, practice some more problems from there and gain a deeper understanding for how each step works. And then keep using it and using it until you can do it on your own. And then try a few on your own. And yeah. So basically, ChatGPT should just be used as an asset. It shouldn't be your whole school career. It should just help you. Like, as Johnson said earlier, practice tests, practice problems. It's great for. It's not good to just check an answer and then you have that answer and you turn your answer in and maybe you get a good mark on that specific homework question, but you don't know how to do it. So when it comes up on a test, you're not going to be able to do it.
Mm-hmm. And speaking of that, another great use of ChatGPT is to actually check your answers with ChatGPT. And it should be right most of the time, because if you take a picture of your work and you show the process of your work, then ChatGPT can like use that process to know how to do it, and it just double checks from there. So there's less chance of it getting it wrong. But it's definitely a great tool to use to double check your work.
And that's only if your printing's better than Johnson's.
Okay.
So, thank you for watching today's video. This was a rough one, but this is our first one. So we're going to be coming out with more step-by-step tutorials on how to do the things we went over today. We're going to give our real-life examples, provide our schoolwork, how we've used it. But yeah, just remember, number one thing, do not use ChatGPT for like force. How do I phrase that?
Like just straight plagiarism.
Yeah, yeah. Like don't use ChatGPT as your sole way to complete work, because even though Johnson and I have used it before, I would say that like I only use it at least like 5% of the time, maybe. Yeah. For practice.
Use it to help you understand, not use it to complete your work.
Exactly. So yeah, that's basically it. Anything you want to add?
Nope. Follow for more tips.
Facts.
Or subscribe wherever it's being posted.
That's true. We're gonna, yeah. Okay. See ya. Signing out.
Okay.